wonder how the biggest companies grow what seems like overnight? It's often not just organic growth, but strategic business buyouts. This masterclass isn't just about mergers and acquisitions, it's about mastering the art of identifying, evaluating, and closing the kind of deal that can transform your future. So let me ask you, are you ready to learn the secrets? Hi, I'm John Stoddard from DealFlowSystem.net. I've helped buyers close $33 million in SMB deals and raise $50 million in funding. If you're working full time and want to buy a business without wasting years on junk deals, this video is for you. Now, here's the deal. All right, part one, cracking the buyout code. The first thing people get wrong about buyouts is thinking it's just about money. Nope. Behind every deal, there's a story. There's a why that drives both sides. Think about Warren Buffett. He didn't buy See's Candies because it had the highest margins on paper. He bought it because of the brand, the moat, and the story. That little box of chocolates, it was warm to his heart, and it carried generations of loyalty. And when you see that, you understand. Sometimes the real asset isn't on the balance sheet. It's in the customer's heart. So when you're looking at a business, ask yourself, what's the real driver here? Is it brand? Is it distribution? Is it the people? Because remember, you're not just buying cash flow, you're buying your time. Part two, identifying targets. Cody Sanchez, who's in the business buying business, says it best. Look for the unsexy deals like laundromats, car washes, HVAC companies. Main Street is littered with gold if you put on what she calls deal maker glasses. And Charlie Munger once said, the big money is not in the buying or the selling, but in the waiting. Now think about that. If you buy a boring but solid business and just wait, compound that over a decade, you will look like a genius. So don't chase shiny objects. Look for businesses with recurring revenue, strong customer ties, and a moat that protects them from competition. So ask yourself, would I be proud to own this business 10 years from now? Would I be proud to talk about it in a party with my wife? Part three, why buy now? Timing does matter. Ray Dalio built Bridgewater on the principles of cycles, understanding when tides shift. Right now, baby boomers are retiring, massive numbers of them, 12 million of them. That's the largest transfer of small business ownership in history. So why buy now? Because the next decade is like standing on the shore during low tide. You can walk out further than you ever could before. Opportunities are exposed everywhere, but tides do come back. And if you're waiting for the perfect timing, you're going to miss that wave. Part four, the due diligence deep dive. Richard Parker, a friend of mine, has been on my show, hammers this point. Education and due diligence are your moat. 94% of first-time buyers quit before closing a deal. Why? They didn't do the work to understand what they are looking at. Here's what I tell my student. Don't just read the financials. Stress test them. Do a forensic read of the books. Ask, what do you think keeps the seller up at night? They are not telling you something and you need to figure it out. Look beyond those numbers. Visit the shop floor. Watch how the employees move. Are they efficient or are they just busy? Or are they looking for that clock to hit 5 o'clock? Warren Buffett once bought a furniture store, not because the margins looked great, but because he watched the owner, Mrs. B, out-hustle everyone. He saw her negotiating with customers in her 90s. He knew the culture was bulletproof. So ask yourself, is the engine of the business you're looking at strong enough to keep running when you take over? Part five, valuation mastery and negotiation. Here's where most buyers get wrecked. They think valuation is just EBITDA, multiplied by some multiple. No, valuation is a story you and the seller tell together. Carl Allen, another friend, has been on my show, teaches this well. Seller psychology often outweighs the dollars. Maybe the seller cares more about their employees than the price. Maybe they want income for retirement, not a lump sum. If you can see that, recognize that, you can structure a creative deal. That's where annuity style payments, Carl likes, seller notes, and earnouts come in. It's less about squeezing the price and more about structuring the deal so everyone wins. Let me ask you, if you were the seller, what would matter more to you at this stage of your life and where you're at? An extra 100K on price, or knowing your life's work continues in good hands after you? Part 6, funding your future. A lot of people freeze here. I don't have the money. But let me tell you, most deals aren't bought with 100% cash out of pocket. It never happens. It does happen in technology. Yes, I could be corrected on that. But you've got SBA loans, seller financing, private investors. Walker Debo calls this skipping the startup pain. Why build from zero when you can buy cash flow on day one? I had a student who thought they needed millions in the bank. They didn't. They just used a mix of seller financing and an SBA loan and closed on $1 million business with less than 200K down. Here's the truth. Capital follows good deals. All right, part 7, sealing the deal and integration. The close isn't the finish line. It's the starting gun. The first 90 days are everything. Walker Diebel says acquisitions aren't the end, they're the springboard. You've got to win trust fast. Talk to employees, talk to customers, show stability. Charlie Munger has a saying, show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome. If you align incentives for your new team through bonuses, through growth paths, and even just respect, you'll see performance soar. But if you ignore the culture, you'll be in integration hell. Part 8, future proofing. Ray Dalio reminds us everything moves in cycles. That includes your acquisition. If you're not planning for the next storm, you're going to get wiped out. So build resilience, diversify customers, keep cash reserves, and always, look for the next buyout to bolt on. That's how PE firms do it. That's how you should think, even in SMB land. Buy one business, stabilize it, then stack acquisitions around it to build your mini conglomerate. Let me ask you, what would your life look like if you own not just one, but 3 businesses throwing off steady cash flow? Part 9, the numbers don't lie. Keith Cunningham lens. Let's just pause here, because too many buyers fall in love with the business story without running it through what Keith Cunningham calls the dumb tax filter. Keith Cunningham says every big mistake in business is a dumb tax. You end up paying because you didn't ask the right questions. And acquisitions, that's a whole minefield of potential dumb taxes. He teaches something simple but powerful. Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, but cash is king. Always look for businesses that have a lot of cash on their balance sheet. So when you're looking at a business, don't just ask, how much revenue is it doing? Ask, how much real cash hits the bank account every single month? And what's the working capital cycle? How long does it take to turn $1 of sales into cash? Can this business fund itself? Or will I need to keep writing checks or borrowing money? You will also see that on the balance sheet. Keith says the best buyers slow down and stare at the numbers until they whisper the truth. Think about it. If a business shows $5 million in revenue, but only $300K in free cash flow, is that really worth your hassle? Let me ask you, would you rather own the big impressive company or the boring $1.2 million plumbing shop that throws off $400K every year, like clockwork? Part 10, Adam Coffey, the PE Operator's Playbook. Now let's talk about Adam Coffey. This is a guy that led companies backed by private equity, scaling them to billion-dollar exits. And here's his big lesson. Integration is everything. Adam says buying a business is just the start. The real money is made in how you operate it after the ink dries. He talks about the first 100 days like it's a presidential term. If you got a limited window to set the tone. And how do you do that? Over communicate with employees, build dashboards for clarity, KPIs that give you a cockpit view, standardize processes fast so you don't get buried in chaos, like a frequently asked questions, set up an AI agent. Coffey's advice is brutally simple. You can't grow what you can't measure. And most small businesses, they don't measure anything. They fly by the gut. That's where you, as the new owner, can create value. He calls it turning fog into clarity. If you can bring professional systems like financial reporting and balance those books, marketing playbooks, leadership structure into a scrappy small business, you can double or triple value in just a few years. And here's the kicker. This isn't about being some genius. It's about being disciplined. Think about private equity firms. Why do they win? Because they treat every $10 million HVAC company like it's a $100 million company. They professionalize it, scale it, and sell it for a higher multiple. Ask yourself this: if I buy this business today, what professional system can I bolt on tomorrow that will make it 10 times more valuable in 5 years? Final closing ideas. Cody Sanchez says, buy boring, build wealth. Richard Parker says, due diligence is your moat. Carl Allen says, structure deals to match psychology. Walker Diebel says, buy first, then build. And what do Buffett, Munger, and Dalio remind us? Patience, culture, and cycles matter more than spreadsheets. From Keith Cunningham, you get the financial lens. Don't pay the dumb tax. Cash is king. Numbers are the truth serum. And from Adam Coffey, you get the operator's lens. Integration, clarity, and systems how you actually multiply value. And from me, my course, John Stoddard, you get the practical roadmap. Deal flow, finding the right opportunities so you're not wasting time on junk deals. Deal review, knowing what's fundable, what's not, and spotting red flags before they burn you. And deal financing, raising the capital and structuring the terms so the money doesn't kill the dream. Because when you blend all of this, big names, the frameworks, and the practical systems, you've got the complete buyout playbook. So when you're out there looking at the next HVAC shop, that e-commerce brand, that regional service company, don't just see the numbers, see the story. Because the art of the buyout isn't just about spotting opportunities. It's stacking wisdom. This is how you avoid rookie mistakes, how you structure smart deals, and how you walk into a closing table knowing you're not just buying a business, you're buying a wealth engine. All right. So the art of the buyout isn't just about spotting opportunities. It's stacking wisdom. Finance from Cunningham, systems from Coffey, patience from Buffett, psychology from Allen, boring riches from Sanchez, diligence from Parker, scaling discipline from Diebel. And that's why the game isn't luck. It's actually skill. If you found this video, smash that subscribe button. And if you're serious about buying your first business, head over to dealflowsystem.net. That's where I show you exactly how to find, fund, and close your first deal the smart way. I'm John Stoddard, and I will see you on the next one.